I can remember being on watch at night and swearing someone was coming into the bushes.
Fog lifted all of a sudden, and a round came in about 100 yards back. So I said, "Gumper, let's get out of here."
We started moving out, and everyone stopped, and the command came down, fix bayonets. But you talk about something that sends a chill down your spine when the command comes down to fix bayonets.
To these veterans, Korea was more than just a war. For 3 years, it was their lives. And while families were safe and comfortable back home, they lived in bunkers and trenches. This is their story.
We came ashore on an LST, and were given a bandolier of ammunition. I took 2 because I was so scared.
I thought Korea was one of the worst places in the world, really, as far as the climate and all. Rain, it was cold in the wintertime, snowed a lot.
I remember they fed us some hot chow, but of course it was so cold almost as soon as it was put on your mess kit, it froze.
It was a culture shock for these young kids, and they were homesick. So John Dickerson wrote to his fiancée frequently.
The nights have been very cool, and we are standing 3.5 hours watch a night per section. One of the men in my squad killed a North Korean who tried to get through our lines at night. It was the first one he ever killed, and he was really shaken up. But now he's a veteran at it.
We were lean and mean, and crazy. I remember every one of us stuck our K-bars down in our cold weather boots, Just crazy. When you're that age, you think you're invincible. You really do.
They were very young, kids just 18 and 19 years old.
And I remember these gunny sergeants, they were old men. They were like, they were 27, 28. Yeah, they called me the old man.
For kids fresh out of high school, 27 did seem old, but young or not, they were old enough to fight. Al fired the deadly 81 mortars.
It was a constant job just to keep bringing the ammo up. Well, they were firing crazy. The barrels were actually smoking so hard.
We had 25 rounds in the air before the first one impacted. Now figure that out. That's really dropping them down that tube.
John Dickerson was Al's squad leader.
He was a cool kid, he really was. That's all we all were kids,
But they were forced to mature quickly. Earl Lunsford searched bodies and ridge lines for intelligence. And one day, his sergeant let him take the Jeep because he had so much equipment to carry.
We were to leave there and head on out on patrol, and he said, "Well, you're still carrying a lot of stuff. Let me go help you carry some stuff up the hill." Part way up the hill, he was the first one to step on the mine.
Others followed.
There was 2 of us that could still talk to each other and told him, try to help Neely because he's hurt worse than we are. He took about 2 steps. I was looking right at him when he stepped on.
There's no place when you're in a combat situation that's safe.
You had to be alert at all times. Al Bedica can tell you that.
In those days, C Rations had a little can of jelly, crackers and jelly, like Ritz crackers, and I popped this open and I just ate this thing. All of a sudden, a bee sat on that thing and stung me right in the cheek, right in the mouth, right in the lip. So I walked down the hill about half a mile. I walk into the tent, and there's guys laying there, really hurting. And the doc looks at me and he says, "Marine, what's wrong with you?" I said, "I got stung with a bee." That made their day.
They got a good laugh that day, and they needed humor to keep their spirits up, especially during the holidays.
It was Thanksgiving of '51. We was in reserve at a place called India that was up north, and we had a turkey, but then the turkey tore us all up. Come to find out it was frozen in 1943, and that was 1951.
Rotation has been knocked off for another month because of casualties. Now here I'll be lucky to leave by February. Gosh, honey, if I don't get out of here soon, I think I'll go crazy.
There were a lot of moments the Korean veterans wished to forget. Earl can remember them all too clearly.
When I was out checking bodies, and a young teenage girl was laying on the porch. I didn't know where she was dead or where she was sleeping. But I walked up there, and flies was going in and out of her mouth. I never forget that. Never.
Korea was a place no one wanted to be, but when their time came to rotate home, it was hard to leave.
You're one big family. It's brothers. Now, whenever it's your time to rotate home, you want to rotate home just as bad as anybody. But still in all, you hate to leave because you're leaving them, and they can't go with you.
And when they did return home, it was like nothing they expected.
I mean, there were no parades, there were no drums, drum beats, there was no marching bands, there was nothing like that for the Korean veterans.
The streets were as empty as when they left.
When I came home, it was quite different because all the guys that I grew up with played ball together and dated together and double dated. 2 of them went in the Army, 3 of us went in the Marines, and out of 5, I was the only guy to come home.
One of those friends was Teddy Skeels, and when John came home, he went to visit Teddy's mother to pay his respects. He remembers walking on the front porch and looking through the screen door.
And when I knocked on her door, I had my greens on. I heard her scream, I told you he's not dead, there's Teddy, there's Teddy. And she swung open the door and then just collapsed in a dead faint, you know.
And though the war faded away, their memories didn't.
I can't say that you'll completely get over it, never will. They carry scars that can't be seen. That's about all I can say, really. I'm sorry I got emotional, but it stays there.